Hello, everyone. This is John Etheridge. I'm an editor with SMI, and today our guest is Matt Brolley. He's the Montgomery Village president, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the programs the village has been offering to assist local businesses and its residents through the COVID-19 pandemic. Welcome, Matt.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about the small grant program that the village has been offering.
Yeah, so this was an idea of actually one of our village trustees, Dan Geyer, suggested that we ought to look at the loan fund that we have and think about granting, a small amount of that out to businesses that need to do things like pay bills or order supplies and food or get their mortgage paid, that kind of thing. So what I mentioned at the meeting, this board and our staff is maybe a little bit unique in that we were able to kind of modify our Montgomery Development Fund and and 2 weeks later, granted out 23 grants to our businesses at $5,000 each. And we have an additional like 12 or 13 now that will hopefully grant out next week for a total of $175,000 that we're putting back into the community right now.
Yeah, and now these are grants, these aren't loans.
Correct. Yep, so there's a few stipulations that they utilize the funding for things that I mentioned, and that they stay open if they're open, but otherwise it's an entirely forgivable grant.
Right. And the types of businesses that have come to the village and ask for this assistance, it pretty much runs the gamut, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. We had a restaurant in the first round, dental offices, chiropractors, insurance agencies, some, and just various businesses that have closed, manufacturing, sales, kind of things. So yeah, I mean, it runs a gamut. We kind of see this as an investment in our future, because if any one of those businesses closes, you pick one in town and they shutter, we all suffer long term. So this was strategically putting $5,000 into each of those businesses
Sure.
will benefit us long term for sure.
Sure. So and the qualifications to receive a grant, again, this is it has to be businesses have to have fewer than 50 employees, isn't that right?
Yeah, open for a year, I believe. It can't be, you can't be a liquor store, that kind of thing.
Right.
But essentially, what was the other one too? But yeah. Very minimal requirements. We kind of did the same thing with the water bill assistance, is really just get some of that red tape out of there so we can get the money into people's bank accounts now when March 1st or May 1st, and mortgage bills due. So
when is the deadline for a business to apply for a grant if they just...
So the deadline for those will be the end of this month.
Right.
So we're actually going to be set to approve the next round of those on Tuesday, May 26th at our next meeting. And then the last round, if we have any others, will be approved first week or second week in June.
Okay. And how have you been getting the word out about the grant program?
So we've been working with our Economic Development Corporation, the Chamber of Commerce, and the village business email list that we put together. Facebook, word of mouth, that kind of thing. I've had business owners texting me asking where they can get the application. Right. So and certainly newspapers like yourself that put that in there. I mean, people read that, and I'm sure we'll get some more because of that. So I appreciate it.
Okay, great. And are there other grants or loan programs that local businesses can apply for through the village?
Yeah, so there's like really three other options. We're also partaking in the $25,000 grant. That's the Downstate DCEO grant. So we'll facilitate an application if a business would like something like that. But then we also have our Montgomery Development Fund, which already existed. That gives smaller forgivable grants and larger loans to businesses that want to either expand or improve their facility.
And the intent here is to continue, to help these businesses survive this pandemic. And where do you see, the village, another 3 to 6 months, as far, from a business standpoint?
Yeah. I have no idea, because I
Right.
really feel like everything changes, week by week. I mean, this has been 2 months that I've been working here at home, and it seems like every week things change. So all we can do is focus on now, making sure that we can keep as many of our businesses open, keep people safe. So we'll look at our finances. We're estimating the losses that we will have. I was thinking about it the other day. I haven't filled up my car with gas in more than 2 months.
Really? Okay.
I suspect we'll take a hit on our motor fuel tax dollars that we get for our roads programs. But we're in pretty good financial shape when we started this, and so we'll be able to weather the storm.
Okay, great. And the village has also offered some assistance to residents of the village and to residents of the Boulder Hill subdivision.
Yes.
The village provides water service too.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this was, came up kind of early on when we were getting ready to mail out our water bill, is that if residents or water customers, people from Boulder Hill included, were having trouble with their water bill, would we pay their bill for them with our reserves? So using our general fund reserves, the board agreed to pay everybody's water bill up to $100. All they had to do was send us an email or a call or a letter requesting that. So as of right now, we've had over 1,600 water customers request assistance, and the value of that comes out to be about $145,000. It's $100 might not, make or break some folks, but for a lot of folks right now, with uncertainty as to their job and the future with their employer, I've gotten some really great feedback. They really did appreciate us trying to help them hold it together here for a couple months.
Sure. Well, now the deadline to apply for that has passed.
Yes.
Right. How do you see that? You've got June water bills, utility bills coming out. Will the program be continued, or is that something the village board is going to have to take a look at?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to talk about that on next Tuesday. It largely depends on what happens with the stay-at-home order for our area. I think if folks can start to go back to work, I think that we move past that then. But I honestly don't know what the answer is going to be.
Okay, great. As far as this situation is certainly not something that you probably contemplated going into the beginning of this year. How do you think the village as a community has responded?
Well, I mean, just from what I'm seeing on Facebook, because like everybody else, we're locked in our houses, but it's been tough. I mean, I've seen that, in our own home and with our call volumes from our police department that, there was a few weeks where I think people kind of coped with things. And ever since then, we've seen kind of an increase in activity. I mean, it's stressful and it's cumulative. It adds up. So it's been tough. That's one of the reasons why we kicked off that Miles for Meals, is to get folks that, were still receiving, their dual incomes to go out, donate $25 to the food pantry and hit the trails. They're open, stay active,
right,
and give something to look for a month. So, I guess time will tell to see how things really shake out. We're having we haven't officially canceled like Montgomery Fest yet, but there were other events, in June that we've canceled. So only time will tell on all that for sure.
Great. And any further words of advice to businesses or residents in Montgomery? Got a message for them right at this moment?
Is to take a deep breath, honestly, because, I can even notice and sense the stress in life that I think taking a deep breath before, before, during, and after work on your work day or whatever it is, we'll get through this. I think, and I'm hoping that June and July look much better. than the last 2 months. We can get outside at least, enjoy some warm weather and the sunshine. So, but I really do appreciate it.
Great.
We'll do it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Matt Brolley, Montgomery Village President.
All right, John, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now I'm going to